NKC Art.
Okay, today we're going to use different types of lines in order to create our smiley fish that turns into an angry piranha. What you're going to need is I have an 11 by 17 paper that's folded, and if you're in my classroom, I pre-folded it for you. You're going to need a Sharpie or a black marker and a pencil, and then next week we'll finish coloring them, so you can use some crayons next week when we finish up our fish. What you're going to do is, if you're at home, you're going to take your 11 by 17 paper and fold it in half, touching the sides up in the corners, so it will so you can fold it down here and crease it. And then you're going to take one of the sides right here and just kind of flip it back and then fold it to where the edges meet down here at the bottom. This is going to allow you to do your happy fish and then be able to fold it down to make your mad piranha. After you do that, you're going to take your pencil and you're going to start drawing your fish with the paper folded together. If you're in my classroom, I've already started a fish for you. So, if you're at home, what you're going to do is you're going to take your pencil and you're going to make a large rainbow shape on your paper. And then on the bottom part, on this little flat part, you're going to make kind of like a smiley face, rainbow shape upwards. And then for the tail, you're going to make a diagonal line on the top and the bottom. And then you're going to try to make a straight line on the side. If you have a ruler at home, you can also use the ruler to try to make your line as straight as you can, or you can just freehand draw it. Either one of those will work. After you've drawn your fish, what you're going to want to do is open it up, and on the part where his head ended, you're going to want to come down a little bit more. This will help you not see his teeth before you open up your paper. So I'm just going to add a little bit more line so it goes down further, and I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom, just above where it folds, to make sure that when I do have it folded over, you're not going to see his angry teeth underneath it. The next thing you're going to do is, if you have a ruler, you can use that to make a straight line down your fish, or you can just try to freehand it. The straighter the better, because when we open this up, we're going to be extending the lines inside of your fish. So it does help if they're as straight as possible. So I'm just going to go ahead and draw my straight line. Again, my paper is still folded up so it looks like just a regular sheet of paper. So wherever that little lip is right there, you just kind of be careful when you draw over the top of it to make your straight line. Now, when you add your designs on your fish, I would go with something simple, because when you open it up, you're going to end up having to draw and extend those patterns all the way down. If it gets too complicated, that makes it a lot more difficult to extend your patterns. You don't have to use the same lines I use. You can choose your own, but again, I would just make sure that they're pretty simple patterns. So I could start off with a zigzag pattern that goes down my fish. You can choose whatever pattern you like. This is just what I happen to choose. And I'm just going to follow my fish down, making the pattern all the way down. If you open it, you notice the pattern is missing in the middle. We will fill that in here in just a little bit. After you decide what kind of line you want to make down your fish, you're going to come up with another pattern. You could do circles, hearts, a different kind of line, like a wavy line, a jagged line, whatever you would like to on your fish. Maybe just even some straight lines. Nice and simple, so that they'll be easy to continue down when we finish the middle of our fish, and even easier to color in when we are ready to color it in. I could even do some little wavy lines on my fish. And then maybe a few more circles. On his face right here, I'm going to make a big eyeball like this. Just make this circle the best I can. And then I'm going to go back inside the circle and make like a part of a circle right there. So that's going to be his eyeball, and then that's kind of like the white part of his eye. And then I'm going to go down here and I'm going to make a smile. So that's kind of what your fish should look like when you're all finished. Again, you're drawing in pencil. I'm doing it in Sharpie so that you can see it on the board better in the classroom and on the video better when you're watching it. But you should be using pencil. We will trace our fish in Sharpie next week before we color it. What you're going to do is you're going to open up your fish like this. Now if you notice, there's a big space in the middle. We need to extend all of these lines down to reach the bottom of our fish. In order to do that, I like to use a ruler. You can try it with just your hand, but the ruler is going to help you get it the straightest line that you can have. What I'm going to do is I'm going to line up the ruler next to that first line I drew, right next to his face, and get it about as lined up as I can with this line on the side and then this line down here. And I'm going to go ahead and just continue my line all the way down so that the top touches the bottom. I'm going to do the same thing with these two straight line stripes. I like to do the straight lines first just because they're a lot easier to do than some of the jagged lines. I'm going to line it up the best I can to where I see part of my line on the side here and part over here. And then just extend it all the way down. And I'm going to do the same thing to the line next to it. And just try to get it as straight as possible. The next thing I'm going to do is finish his tail. So where his tail should meet, I'm going to take the ruler again. And I'm going to line it up to where it meets on the sides right here. And I'm going to draw straight down to make my straight line. The next thing I'm going to want to do is continue my patterns. So they should touch from the top to the bottom. This is a little bit more tricky. That's why we're using pencil. Draw lightly so that you can erase if you make a mistake. So on my zigzags, I was going right, left, right, left. I'm going to continue that pattern, right, left, all the way down until I get to my other zigzag at the bottom. And kind of line it up the best you can. It can be a little bit hard when you're trying this at first. Notice how my zigzag kind of messed up there. That's okay. If you want to erase it and fix something like that when it happens, you are more than welcome to. I'm going to go ahead and continue my polka dots all the way down to my fish. And then I'm going to finish my wavy line over here, a lot like I did my zigzag line. I'm going to just follow the waves like this. And then I'm going to follow these waves like this. And line them up the best I can with the down here at the bottom. And then I have a few more circles I'm going to finish up, following all the way down. So it looks like my pattern extends all the way through. So when you have it like this and you pull it out, it completes the rest of the fish. For his mouth, what I'm going to do is that point that I went a little bit past the point where my paper covers, if you notice it kind of goes under it. I'm going to go ahead and take that point and draw a straight line to the beginning of his body. And then you can make some crazy teeth. You can do some like sharp ones, some are longer than others, jagged teeth coming out on the top. On the bottom, we're going to do about the same thing. We're going to start at that line that we drew, and then we're going to go straight across to where his body starts. And then we're going to add some teeth coming up from the bottom of his mouth. So this is what your fish sort of should look like when you're all finished, so that when you fold him up like this, he looks like a happy fish. And when you extend him out, he looks like an angry fish. Next week, we're going to finish tracing our fish in Sharpie and then coloring him with crayons. So when you're all finished, your fish should look something like this. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with.